Wait a minute. I know why you're listening. You want to know all about me, right? How this group acquired a tinkering demolition expert and inventor supreme in the making? Okay, maybe that's a mild exaggeration. I get carried away pretty easily. But it doesn't mean that any of that isn't going to be the truth one day. I think demolition expert and inventor supreme is a title I could grow into in the future. But for now, you can call me Cal. I'm a deer, a tinkerer, and I just love to make things or fix them up. My parents have never really been entirely thrilled about it. They didn't mind so much when I was a kid, because back then they just thought it was a welcome distraction and my way of keeping myself occupied. Now they see it as an unwelcome distraction I escape to instead of focusing on my role in the family business. But more on that later. Anyway, I come from an old mining village up in the mountains looking over ice trap called Lindare a lot. I live there with my family, and in my family, there's literally a lot of us. Let me break it down slowly. So there's my mum, my dad, me, then my siblings. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters. So already you can picture that the dinner table is getting a little crowded. Well, then you add my grandparents, my uncles, there's 2 of those, my aunts, there's 4 of those, and a boatload of cousins. I got no idea how many of those there are. And that's a standard roll call for dinner on a weekday. We usually live separately, but close together, and recently, money's been pretty tight, so it just saves a few pennies if we all rally together under one roof for our meals and work as a team to prioritise and maintain the upkeep of the main house, which was ours. We all cut corners where we can, and we do our best, but it's been getting harder. My parents don't seem to think I'm aware of the situation, but I've known for a while. There's been some interest expressed in Lindare a lot, but not the welcome kind. The kind that doesn't see a historic gem hidden in the higher woodland. The kind that just sees a parcel of land with a pretty view and an abandoned mine. We're happy living there, but there's some folk out there who seem to think they'd be even happier if we weren't. They want the land for themselves, for who knows what business. These folk aren't trustworthy, believe me, but the less you know about them for now, the better. The point is, these folk have really started to put pressure on us for staying put. Bad things happen when they don't get what they want. Things get broken, sometimes people even get hurt, or worse. The only way to avoid that, without giving them what they want, is to give them the next best thing: money. Money we don't have. We had it at first, but then the prices grew higher, and the work we were getting wasn't making the cut anymore. We had to start thinking outside the box. My grandpa even came out of retirement to work and chip in. The work we had in Ice Trap was no longer sufficient alone for the demands being asked of us, so the working members of the family began branching out, travelling to other territories to find more work. The most recent of these ventures was Flathome. I don't know a great deal about what my father and uncles agreed to there. We're a family business that works in scaffolding. That's our main source of income. And all I knew was that we were promised a huge payout if we made this delivery of scaffolding. It was the biggest profit that our family business has ever seen, and it's not even for us, it's for crooks. So, before the group, that's where I was. I was with my family traveling to Flathome. We've been traveling for a few days. Now, I already know what you're wondering. It sounds like your family's really going through it financially at the moment. So, why are you traveling with a bunch of strangers that you don't even know as a vagabond? Fair evaluation, and you're absolutely right. So, I'll be honest, it was an accident, and it was my fault. Kind of. One of the nights during our travel, we'd settled down in a clearing for camp. As it was getting late, the weather wasn't particularly great, and the fire needed replenishing to stop it from completely fizzling out. My father asked me to get some more firewood, so of course, I went on my way to go find some. Unfortunately, tracking isn't my strong suit, and retracing my steps in unfamiliar places isn't either. In fact, because I've never been further than home or ice trap, I'm awful at tracking. I ended up wandering too far and getting lost, so I was getting scared, I was anxious, I was overwhelmed, and I don't remember much of what happened next. All I do remember is stumbling into an open dirt path. There was just enough moonlight to know that much. But before I had any time to react at all, I was blinded by this bright light and felt something massive collide with me and knock me down. When I came to, it must have been the early hours of the morning. It was a bit lighter, but still difficult to see where I was going, especially factoring that whatever hit me made me knock my head pretty bad. I could feel that parts of my antlers were missing. All I could really see was the dirt path, some blood on my fur and in my clothes, and there was debris everywhere. And all the wood that I'd gathered was flung around all over the place too, so I had to pick all that back up. But among the debris, I found a toolbox, and it wasn't in particularly great condition, but a lot of the tools, some of them were still functional, but they were mostly old, rusty, and some of them were nearly broken. Then I found a pair of goggles inside that stood out amongst them because these babies looked brand new. I tried looking for a name or something, but there were no engravings or labels on them. They looked really cool though, so I just wanted to try them on for a minute, just to see if they were as good as they appeared. The problem was, I got the straps tangled in my antlers whilst I was trying them on, and the chips in my antlers from whatever had happened didn't really help me at all. The goggles ended up getting stuck over my eyes pretty tight, which just made the whole thing a lot worse because now I couldn't even see where I was going. I tried feeling for some of the wood I'd gathered and carried what I could in one arm so I could use my other hand to feel my way around. And as you can imagine and conclude from everything I've told you so far, that went about as well as trying to put out a dumpster fire with a thimble of water. Terribly. It went terribly. I couldn't find my way around. I couldn't find my way back. I couldn't even hear my family. And I'm a deer, you know. We have amazing hearing. This whole situation threw me, and I had no idea where my family was. My body was aching. I had no sense of direction or time. It literally felt like it was just me against the world. Honestly, if it wasn't for Sabian, I'd probably still be out there somewhere wandering around aimlessly, or worse. I'm too scared to even think about it. But Sabian really helped me out. He stuck with me and kept me company. He even helped me to retrace my steps to camp with his tracking skills and his sense of smell, but my family was gone. No note, no sign of indication or where they were going. Nothing. I couldn't believe it, and I still can't. They left without me. Did they even look for me? Did they leave me behind on purpose? Did they think I ran away? Did they assume for some reason I just decided to try traveling the rest of the journey to flat home by myself? Because that would be incredibly unrealistic and show they have no indication they know who I am. Anyway, but point being, none of it makes sense. But for the meantime, this vagabond group I stumbled into, they're not so bad. And they've got my back. Sabians too. I really do hope I can find my family, but this is my time to prove myself. Prove that my silly ideas can really make a difference. Prove I can survive out here in the woodland. Prove to folk that I'm more than a skittish, clumsy deer with arsonist tendencies. Keep following the adventure, and you'll see what I can really do. Cal over and out.